This is Rap the News. I was just watching Brother Yuta, Brother Thaddeus, Brother Deshaun all together, and it's a beautiful thing. And Brother Yuta took them out to the land, and they were, looking at the land. And with that said, I want to say that a lot of people right now are moving out of the cities. And so we are experiencing a fluctuation of people moving in where we were, and it's really not good, because once you out here by yourself, you enjoy the peace. When these people is coming from the city, they bring in their radios, they bring in their music, they bring in their mentalities out here. And then we look at it like, if things go bad, we have more people to fight. Those people are not planning anything. They don't really have anything stored. They don't have no plan. If you don't plan, you plan to fail, like they say. And so basically, they're just gonna be trying to just be out here, and they don't have no way to survive, And so when they hungry, guess where they coming? They coming to my house. That's where they coming. And basically, it's gonna probably turn into the Wild West. It ain't no police out here. They're gonna try to take what they want, and basically, we can't allow them to do such a thing. And so I was watching My Self-Reliance. If anybody ever seen his channel, he was way out in the woods somewhere, and somebody moved right next door to him, and they start marking the markers and everything else, and he got to get up and leave. The woods would be a terrible place to move. We moved out to the desert because we was like, okay, it's hot, it's dry, it's dirt roads. Nobody would move out here. Think again. Somebody moved right next door to us. They start building that house, and boy, that tears your heart apart. We tried to buy that house, and I don't know if it's still for sale or not. I don't know if it's the owner actually fixing up the house to try to sell it. They wanted $25,000 or $30,000. They wanted $30,000 for that house, and it was just a shack, and it was falling apart. We didn't have that, still don't got that, and it would have made things a lot easier, because people wouldn't be moving in so close to us. When people move in close to you, you're in danger again. And it's the reason why we got out here. We had to pretty much try to pray these people from coming out here. When we came out here, it was dark. It was no lights. It was no nothing. I mean, we was tucked away somewhere. You gave it 4 years, and this place is like the city almost again. And luckily, the houses are far apart. Far enough to just make you breathe. But the land that's adjacent to yours, they're close, and luckily we got streets. If we could have bought that property, we would have had enough room to keep them far away from us, but unfortunately, God didn't allow that to happen. Everything is for a reason, and so again, when people move close to you, when you're out in the wilderness, those are the people you have to fight. They got different belief systems and everything else. They moving away from the vaccination shot. A lot of people was moving away from the vaccination shot. So we expecting more people to move out here in the hot, dry wilderness desert with nothing. And it is the best place to move, because if you're out there where it's shaded with all those trees in the forest and stuff, that place is about to be jam-packed, And it's the thuggery, the theft, the murder, the mayhem is all coming to those places, especially where they got road access and people can. If you're gonna move somewhere, it got to be not far, but far away from people. It got to be no road access. It got to be a bumpy, long drive to wherever you're going. And even with that, just like I said, someone moved right next door, because they thought the same way that you thought, that to get far away from people. Now you got to have a plan when you're out here to survive in the desert. You got to say, okay, what is out in the desert? It's a lot of bugs, it's a lot of bats, it's owls, hawks, and vultures and things like that. Turkey vultures, you know. What else? We got rabbits. We got coyotes. Every once in a year, somebody said they see a mountain lion, but they rare. But we got this small game. We got quail out here. You know, Israel's main food source, quail. And so you got to know how to catch that. You know what I mean? So if you're going to come out to the desert, and I'm talking to Brother Yuda and Brother Thaddeus and Brother Deshaun, you got to know how to catch these things if you're going to move out. You know, and basically, if we were to do it all over again, we would have did shipping containers. We would have got railroad ties, put them down as a foundation to the ground, and we'd have built right on top of those railroad ties. We would have put shipping containers. We would have cut some windows and some doors and connected those things together, stacked them on top. We have top level and the bottom level. You know, we would definitely still dig a bomb shelter. We would have the bomb shelter attached to the top and the bottom. So you would stick some shipping containers underground. You would put shipping containers on top of that and bolt them together. That way, if it's a big ass earthquake, you know, they still might stick together. And if you're down underground, you ain't gonna be just swallowed up by the ground, because the ground can close in on you. You down there, you know what I mean? You got to really have a plan. You're going down underground, and you don't want to dig too deep under there. Another thing, you got to have a septic system. You got to have a place where you can get water. If you can get somebody to come in and dig a well for you out in the desert, that's good, you know. And basically, you know that you're gonna have earthquakes, so it can't be PV pipe. It has to be steel, you know. Whatever the metal that they use for water, you got to have some tough metal. That way, if the earth is shifting, it don't mess with your water source. You got to have a water source. If you don't got one, you got to dig one. You know what I mean? You got to dig a place, cement that place out, and you have to have a big water source. You got to bring in some. They got these big old water barrel things that you can buy. You know, 1,500 gallons, 2,000 gallons, and stuff like that. You need that, you know. And foot traps. If you have to eat a coyote, you better eat his ass. You know what I mean? And me and the brother fell out over food because I said that when push come to shove, you got to feed your family. If a rat or anything come past, you better eat his ass. You know, and that's survival. And so this brother said, we don't eat rat and we don't eat pork and we don't eat this. And I showed him the scriptures, 2 scriptures that says that all food was edible for the children of Israel. That when God let us off of the ship at the time of Noah, he said, eat any meat you want to eat. All meat was lawful. If you read and study more, the only thing that made it unlawful was us. The things that we did, we made things unlawful for ourselves. That's what God is saying, you know. And so basically we know some animals are clean, and in times of, like, you know, right now where you ain't got to worry about stuff like that, no, you don't eat no rat, or you don't eat these other types of animals and stuff like that. Definitely we ain't eating no pig, you know. And people will disagree with you, but I'll show you in the scriptures that you're the one that's wrong. You got to study hard, you know. And I may know something that you don't know, you know. Sometimes when people's knowledge is limited, they get all hyper and angry because they following a crowd of people. It's a few of us that know some tricks of the trade here, because we've been doing this a long time. You know, and I ain't saying that to brag or boast or anything like that, because you're showing off. Oh, you think you know. And then I'm going to say this, man. We live out here with a lot of people, and that's another factor that people have to measure in. You ain't going to get along with all of Israel. People are crazy. People have their quirks. People have problems. Some people are molesters. Some people are rapists. Some people are fornicators. Some people are adulterers. Some people is gay. Some people have problems with chaos and their emotions. And You name it. They got a lot of Israel. Some people are drug addicts, and they just might say, okay, it's fun. It's fun the first day, maybe, when we all come together. And then we have to start working on ourselves. We got to start learning how to tolerate each other. You think you know how to tolerate. You think it's just fun. We talking in the comments and actually being face to face and tolerating each other, smelling each other, and learning each other's habits and bad habits and shortcomings. It gets very stressful, Israel. And basically you have to have skills in learning how to deal with people. And I'm gonna say this right off the bat. If you're going to move a lot of people in on your land, it has to be a leader, and that leader has to have the final say, and everybody have to back that leader. The leader is going to have to have some strong men to back him, because people are going to try to override the leader. And I'm saying, and then people will, especially when you got a lot of men there, they will try, it'll turn into prison. They'll try to muscle you. They're going to say, I ain't doing nothing you say. We don't have to listen. Who are you? That's what's going to happen after a while. And so basically you have to enforce the law on your land. And it ain't a smooth, nothing is easy for us people. Like they were saying in the video, we under those curses. We fight each other. We hate each other. We discriminate against each other. We talk behind each other's back. We undermine each other. Might even poison each other, who knows. And so these things have to be taken into consideration when you're thinking about moving a lot of people in a locale. It has to be rules and regulations set in place. No man can come up to your woman and start talking to her. We have to have these rules, man. And you're going to get this weird faggoty type man. He want to take his clothes off in front of people. You're going to get these weird women, they want to walk around with all of their body parts showing and stuff like that. Somebody want to walk outside with his shirt off, flexing his muscles in front of your woman. Somebody want to just keep hollering at your woman or your man, and we can't have that, Israel. Not at all. So basically, when you saying all of Israel or people going to move in, you got to have law and order first, and that has to be set. And then when people break the rules, it has to be stiff consequences. And so just like I said, you got to have the know-how. You got to have builders. Excuse me. And you got to have knowledgeable people on our land. You have to learn how to deal with that heat. You got to learn how to survive. If it get 120 degrees and you ain't got no lights and no nothing, that is unbearable. You got to know how to get underground, people. So when you move into the wilderness, it turns into a thinking man's game. When you're moving in with a lot of people, you got to learn how to get along. That ain't going to be easy. Trust me. You can pray and we can agree all we want to, but agreement goes out the window when people get angry. You'll find out. So, not trying to discourage anybody. I want you to move out and do your thing. I'm just giving you the heads up. This is Rap the News.